Good afternoon. It is 2:16 p.m. February 18th, 2023. And to make this really simple, I made a couple of videos this week and I did not publish them. I got frustrated. I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of us get during our diagnosis of these unbelievably crazy diseases that nobody has any idea what it is and nobody can agree on what it is. You know, I think that's the hardest thing for a lot of us is we go years, and not in my case necessarily. This is almost 3 days shy of 2 years to the date my symptoms started, but I know there's people out there forever that are, you know, that spent years and years and years trying to find out what they have and what they don't have. And I was very fortunate to take every cancellation I had, and things progressed pretty quickly. All the visits, all the tests, everything. And I was very frustrated when I went to Mayo. You know, I didn't have any expectations on what they're going to find or not find. I thought things would have gone smoother. And I hate to be critical. I really hate to be critical, but you have everything in one visit. Well, I couldn't get everything done in one visit. Some people, my neurologist wanted to do some tests. He sent me to a urologist. He sent me to another gastrointestinal doctor, and the gastrointestinal doctor is booked out a month at least, and some of these tests are booked out. How can you go to the Mayo Clinic and not be able to get MRI until 1 month later? A month for an MRI at the Mayo? So I was very frustrated. I said some things on some other videos, not bad things, but I voiced some frustration I had, and I decided not to publish the videos because I don't want to be crazy negative. But what happened is I finally got to a point where most of you guys have got to, where it's slow motion. You got to wait on people, and I know I'm being out of place here. I know I'm being out of character because it's only a month. Am I a bad person? No. Unrealistic expectations of getting everything done in one visit? Yeah. So the other thing that's really hard that I've been through a lot recently. Definitely not as much as other people, but are you sure you have MSA? Are you sure you don't have something else? Let's do trial and error. Let's test for all these other things again and again and again. I guess that was expected. I expected to go to the Mayo and the doctors would say, okay, you went to Franciscan, your local medical facilities, local, they're not local, but not the size of the Mayo. And they said this and that, and you went to IU Health, Indiana University Health, and they're gigantic and their research, educational, they're everything like Mayo. And they did all these tests. I expected them to be like, hey, let's look at their test and go by their criteria, and maybe order some other tests that that I didn't have that IU doesn't offer. No, basically Mayo Clinic wants to reconfirm everything, rerun tests, more tests, their own tests. So I know I'm a lot of ranting and raving on this video, and I don't want to rant and rave. So they did their, my sweat test at IU said inconclusive. There was some abnormalities, and then their sweat test is no, you're good. It's just ironic. The moment I go to Mayo Clinic, the week before that, um, I start sweating a lot. But the 2 months before that, I didn't sweat at all. I was not one drop into the gym. So it's kind of a timing thing too. I guess when you go, I don't like to exaggerate my symptoms. I really don't. Wife's like, you gotta, not lie, but the wife's like, you gotta say it's worse than what it is. Otherwise, doctors, I understand doctors are numb to a lot of things because they see it every day, all day. So you gotta be, oh, end of the world, I'm dying. Something I don't like to do. And it's and I don't like speaking over people. I'm a very passive person. I really am. So, doctors were saying some things that I didn't necessarily agree with, or they were summarizing things that I didn't necessarily agree with. In context, though, after the fact, when I got back from Mayo and from my new neurologist, and I read their notes, they actually weren't summarizing, but it took a week or two to get these notes into the system so I can actually read them. And now it's like, okay, I calmed down a little bit because I was worried that you know, they didn't see what I saw, that they didn't believe me or whatever. And that actually wasn't the case. So, you know, patience is key. It's hard. It's hard to have patience. I'm gonna cry here in a second. It's hard to have patience when you're losing your ability to walk, to use your hands, to scratch your own ass. It's hard to wait. It's hard to believe. It's hard to have faith. It's hard to go to doctors who all have their own opinions, which sounds stupid, I know. But what I have, is not clear cut. It's not a broken leg. I have gone for 20 years begging for doctors to find the problem with my lower back, with my shoulder blades. Nobody can find out what's wrong. And 20 years later, I go to physical therapist for a shoulder, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's the bottom of your rotator cuffs where they anchor in below your shoulder blade." One of them makes sense. Why did it take 20 years, numerous surgeons, and all these other spine doctors for a PT person to figure this out? I got a video I recorded on my computer where I'm pretty much crying the whole video because there's not many people that understand what it is to lose your life, to be losing your ability to live, to walk, to talk, to think. I just attacked myself again last night, and like I woke up with my phone and my charging cord in my hands, like in a weird, but like it's tough. It hurts. These shocks, spasms. Get my haircut today, and I'm just watching these MMA fighters on the screen that they have, and I'm just he punches and I punch, and I'm thank God the guy wasn't cutting my hair because I would have a messed up haircut, Putting a foot in front of the other is terribly hard, and knowing where to put it, how to step, drop everything, touch everything, recreationally, sexually, emotionally. That's what's hard going to these visits. And now another doctor's like, well, MSA is a very bad diagnosis. It's horrible to tell somebody that. No shit. Do you think it or not? Don't tell me I want to err on the side of caution and rule out everything else that everybody else has ruled out before I give you a death sentence. I've accepted it. Like, well, you take this pretty well. I've accepted it. I've accepted it not because of the test results. I've accepted it because I can't do what I have. The last year, I've been losing every ability to do normal things. Get back from Mayo, and the tremors just escalate, unbelievably escalate. And I tell my wife, I think I got a month now to work. Like it was the summer, yeah, a month. I relaxed a whole week. I don't do a lot. Wife and I had COVID, so we chilled, we relaxed. We didn't do anything we didn't have to. I'm like, I wake up the other day, Friday. I'm like, wow, the tremors aren't that bad anymore. They're back to normal. Yeah, I shouldn't have done shit. I shouldn't have said nothing because I go out and shovel the snow, and that's the beginning of the end for the weekend. And now it's just pilfering bad. I mean, just I don't know. So good news is though, I go back in the beginning of March and get more tests done, MRIs, some a whole bunch of things. They're fishing, which is fine. Yeah, I guess if I got to wait a month to get an answer, I'm not going to be too greedy. I guess, right? To get their answer, right? I just, yeah, the tests are conclusive, right? It kills me. The tests are conclusive. Not the autonomic. Autonomic is iffy. Not sure the autonomic, right? Autonomic, I've always said is off and on, off and on. Tests are conclusive. And the guy was like, "Well, we had an MRI done last year that they said it was normal. It's not normal. So let's do another." I mean, the guy sees it. He just don't want to say it. Tell me what you think. God, this waffling of back and forth and well, it's erring a side of caution. I can't dance anymore. Not that I could ever dance to begin with. My wife would laugh at that, right? I can't dance. I can't do athletics. I can barely put the foot in front of the other. Tell me something I don't know. So these fishing games are getting to me. So back to Mayo, beginning of March, first week of March to conclude some more tests. And then I did see my new neurologist. Just saw my new neurologist. And, her mother had MSA, has, I'm not sure which one, had MSA from what I remember. Probably why she got into neurology. And she treats people with MSA too. Now, I don't know how many. We didn't get into the type of talking. It wasn't that type of conversation. It was a short visit. And I asked her before, I said, well, my next visit in 3 months with her, after all the Mayo stuff has been done, we're going to come back and revisit all the findings and get a game plan. And I asked her, and she's, she's spot on. She says, whatever you have is neurodegenerative. She says, we can call it a different name, but it's clearly neurodegenerative with the test. So it's one of those bad diseases, whatever name you want to put onto it. And so I talked to her about the spasms and tremors. I said, I can wait, but 3 months, can we take a look at this stuff? And she says, that's part of the brain failing. She says that's the neurodegenerative part. And unfortunately, this is coming from the brain with the MRIs and DAT scans and stuff that we've had. It's nothing down here. It's not the spine down because EMGs are clean. EMGs are clean. It's not the spine or the muscles or the nerves in those parts. It's the brain. And I told you a couple weeks ago in one of my videos. She confirmed it. I mean, that's her opinion anyway. But that's what she said. That's the brain falling apart. That part anyway, right? The caudate nucleus or whatever. So I am grateful that I have a neurologist that actually, if not that her mom has MSA, I don't want to say that, but she's seen it firsthand. So I can relate. She can relate. you know, and she's the same way. She wants to just confirm what everything else is doing, and we're gonna wait and see, which is good. The only thing that the doctors didn't like about the whole they agree in general with the MSA diagnosis. The only thing they did not agree with, that the only thing that's throwing them off, where they want to confirm a whole bunch of other things, is the fact that I'm not in a wheelchair. And nobody really told me about that. Like I'm going to the doctors. I'm saying, like, am I the only one who doesn't want to be in a wheelchair? Am I the only one who doesn't want to give up? I can't be that. Does people just we just go to wheelchairs and say, hey, we're dead, we're done, move on with it? I can't be the only one that doesn't want that to happen. And she told me, she says, no, she says, because my other Mayo Clinic didn't really expound upon it. And this lady, this doctor, she said no. She said now normally, and MSA affects everything differently, which is the hard part about this. But she says usually when MSA affects your gait, your walking, it freezes all at once. You freeze in your ability to walk. So she says it's not that you're struggling, not that you're gonna be in the wheelchair, right? Because I took exception with my doctor at Mayo Clinic. He's like, I expect you to be in a wheelchair. I'm like, I'm about to. And he's like, no, you're not. I'm like, if I could have punched somebody, that would have been the time. But I'm not that guy. Like, clearly, I'm getting it to that part. And she says with the gait movement of MSA, when it starts, it's instant, and usually it freezes, and you don't walk anymore after that. And I'm still walking. So that's what's throwing them off. They expected somebody to be wheelchair bound, bedridden, stuff like that, even 2 years in. Even 2 years in. So that's what's throwing them off. Only that. Everything else is MSA. So, I guess bad part about MSA is that, like, my neurologist, my new one over here, she says it affects everything differently. And it's so hard. Me and you have MSA and completely different onset and how they progress and what they progress, what they touch, what they don't touch, things like that. So it makes sense. Got that cough, by the way. I thought the cough was gone yesterday, this morning. It's like, no, no, cough is back. So all in all, I don't want to rant, but it's frustrating. I'd rather broke my back again or have some more surgeries on other stuff than this. I don't. I know this sounds very bad to say, but I'd rather have something I knew what it was, and 100% instead of 90%, that we can hang our hat on, and there's no confusion and no doubt, because it's hard to keep going. I don't even think about I don't even think about next year, 2024. I'm not even thinking about, like, where else do I want to go for a vacation at the end of the year. I don't think I'll get to the end of the year walking. That's how far along this thing is. Whatever name you want to put with it. When you can't look into the future, I'm just trying to get to summer. So that's why I'm incredulously frustrated right now. And God forbid I want to go do a tune up on the kids SUV. Check the spark plug and the coil over ignition, ignition over coils, and everything I do just makes things worse. The tremors, shaking, and spasms, everything. Every 10 feet I walk, this makes everything worse for the day. Walking, thankfully, is talking. Talking, thankfully, doesn't add any problems. But the more I move my muscles, I should have never shoveled the snow. Yeah, I should get the kids and the wife, but then if I'm not doing anything, I'm a rotting vegetable. What's worse? right? It's like I gotta pick the time and day of what to do and what not to do. So it's weird. It's really weird. And then Monday I go back to work and I got to train somebody how to climb ladders and stuff, and yeah, it's just gonna go back. The whole week's gonna be shot because of that. The whole week's gonna be shot because of I'm physically gonna exert myself. So you know, what do you do about it? For the little duck for the kid. That's cruising going on. I guess we got some duck fetishes on the cruise ships we go on. So buy ducks everywhere. So I'll have some more videos. I was very distracted for a week, and I didn't want to post things that I didn't mean. Right? Better safe than sorry. So a little video, 21 minutes of me just ranting. But you know, got to give it at least 25, at least 3 more weeks, and we should be in a good place to talk about a lot of stuff in 3 weeks. So I appreciate you guys. I know it's live, and I'm more than happy to help out and answer any questions or anything. Just let me know if you guys need anything and comments, questions, concerns. Appreciate you guys very much. And of course, give me a like. That's all I ask for. No one's going to watch 21 minutes of the video, but I appreciate you guys. And I do have some more content. Again, I just wanted to shut up for a week and mind my business. So, and get over COVID too. My COVID was pretty easy, by the way. I had some night sweats and a runny nose. My COVID was really nothing. And the wife, she got it really bad. lost her taste and smell. So, it's one of those things where what are you going to do? So kids don't have COVID and mom don't have COVID. She came to visit for a while. It's amazing how viruses spread and they don't spread, but we're good. We're in a good spot. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Appreciate you very much. Love you to death. Have a good one.